In this video, I'm going to show you Naruto Storm Connection fights, online ranked fights between Funny Ichigo and CalvinsRoom. Funny Ichigo is somebody who I played in ranked the other day, and I had the worst time in ranked the other day because everything was fake fights. I couldn't get any kind of reaction whatsoever. I couldn't get frames. I had lag disadvantage, and my opponents all had lag advantage most of the time. Now, the first two fights I had against Funny Ichigo actually were the only two fights the entire day that weren't laggy and that I didn't have lag disadvantage. And I actually was on about a 40 or 50, I think 50 game win streak, and he beat me legit, and I didn't even question it for a second because I knew that there was no lag. He actually beat me, so I let him have the streak. A lot of people will comment and say, that's a fake streak, that's a fake streak. If I can't defend myself, if I can't react, yes, we're in a ranked fight, but if you have lag advantage and you're able to move and I can't move, how did you earn that streak? You didn't. You were literally just given it. You stole the streak, right? So I have been leaving at the end because for me, I need to know what my real streak is or not, right? So this Funny Ichigo person beat the streak, no problem. He could have it. But then in our third and fourth fights, the lag kicked in and he had lag advantage, and I could not accept those fights. Now, he was actually the only person that I talked to that day, and I talked to a lot of people about this. He's the only person that actually understood this, and he was sorry that this happened to me, and he apologized. So he was someone who actually showed some humanity and kindness in the community, and everyone else were just egotistical losers. That is a pretty big statement, but really what it is that they're just unaware. But the thing is, no matter how much I explained it to them, they refuse to listen. They refuse to understand because it goes against them, right? Like, they have a complete bias. Of course, them winning is a good thing, and they want to win. If what I'm saying is true, which it is, and I've proved many times, and I'm going to prove again here, then everything that they do in this game is a waste of time, and this game is a complete waste, is a joke. Now, it's not just this game, it's also Storm 4 is a joke. Storm 3 is a joke. Revolutions, Generations, all of them are a joke. Storm 2 is actually the best out of all of them, but even that is a joke because this will happen in Storm 2 as well. Sometimes it just doesn't happen as often. The reason why this is the biggest problem in Connections, aside from all the other games, right? Like, it's worse in Connections than all the other games because we have a weakened guard, so you cannot defend against this lag advantage that the other person has. Their chakra dashes primarily become supercharged, have more priority, and break your guard faster. Your guard breaks faster. When you have lag advantage, especially if you have a lot of lag advantage, you don't really have a chance. So there's no way to defend yourself in this game when the netcode, the lack of rollback netcode, right, the unbalanced netcode, gives the other person the advantage. Right? And when I have the advantage, don't get it twisted. When I have the advantage, I don't want free wins. I don't want no free wins. I want to see who's actually better. But you can't do that in this game. I think about 5 to 33% of the time, on average, somewhere around there, depending on the day, some days are worse, some days are better, are real fights. The rest, the other 95 to 66% of the time, are fake fights, whether you win or lose. And of course you can win some of those, but it doesn't show you who's skilled or not, right? So we're actually going to show you a clip here of Calvin. Nothing but love and respect to him here, but I do this too, where in the moment we don't quite see it. But let's see the reaction here in terms of what Calvin was thinking.
He gonna mash, y'all. He gonna mash. He gonna mash, bro. One thing about this dude, I played him before. No, chill out. One thing about this dude, he gonna mash. Hey, the mash is strong with this one.
All right, so Calvin actually calls him a masher many times. What he doesn't understand is that the mashing is all you can do if you get to a certain frame rate drop, if you get to a certain level of lag, right? Like if it's a 5 out of 10, or 4 out of 10, or 5.5, or 6 out of 10, you can't really do much else aside from mash. Now, of course, Yager is kind of built for this, where his water ripple kind of comes out there, the saw, right? So he kind of can game the system like that, and he loses the first fight and wins the second fight. But he had a lot of lag on this first fight, right? So did you see that? Orochimaru easily countered because they're not experiencing the same thing, right? So the other person is slower. They mash. Their guard opens up more. In fact, sometimes they can't even guard. They whiff air combos. Their defense opens up more easily. They have slower reaction time, and you have a quicker reaction time. That's why he was able to just counter him so easily, because you see it from a mile away when the person that's doing it has lag disadvantage. It's really interesting. Also, Orochimaru's combos and Sasuke's combos, as well as Sasuke's Blue Chidori, as well as Karen's Perfume, all have high lag resistance, meaning they still work in a lag, which was the premise of this video, which a subscriber had told them to play this team, that it was a good team, but they don't know why it's a good team. The reason why it's a good team is because high lag resistance. Heavy Sasuke, Karen Sasuke's combos, mostly immune to lag resistance up to a certain point, maybe up until a 3 out of 10. Where you lose 60, you can lose like 60% of your frame rate and get insane lag, and he'll still work. But probably after that, he'll stop working. Even his combos will stop. I'm talking about the first hit, right? You know that amazing first hit that he has? Orochimaru is also like this, has lag resistance. That's why a lot of people use these characters. It's very interesting, right? Like, I get it. Like, from his perspective, he thinks he's a masher. And this is what happens with running and mashing, right? Is that if you can't fight back, if you can't fight, you're struggling. You're doing everything possible to try and win the fight, right? And as you can see here, Calvin has great skill. He has really nice grab loops here and nice stun combos and all that. Like, he knows how to use this character. And that was a really nice dash as well, super dash. And he's got him easily in a combo. But if you look at this gameplay overall, there's 1 or 2 times, I may not have included the second time, but there's 1 or 2 times where Calvin has 4 substitution bars on Funny Ichigo. 4 substitution bars while Funny Ichigo has 0. A lot of times, if you're taking 4 subs from someone and you have 4 subs, that is also, and you're about the same skill level, that is pretty much a guarantee that you have lag advantage, okay? Sometimes, yeah, you outplayed the person, but that is extremely rare, especially when the game is skill-based matchmaking and you're up against people that are similar. You're not up against beginners. You're up against people with similar skill. Both of these guys have similar skill. Me as well. I'm in here and I have similar skill. But I'm not even going to lie to you guys about it. The only reason why I think a lot of times I'm even considered in some of these fights with some people is that I literally lose to lag. Like, there's so few times that I actually lost a fight in connections in the last month or two that I cannot even believe it. Also, just sidestep those combos, right? You got to sidestep and Z-dash in on the Jaeger combos and you just easily beat it, right? If you don't have lag, you can do it. But if you have lag, you probably can't even avoid it. But here you can see he's got some really nice little combo breakups. You want to get into those cinematic sequences, right? So that was a nice blue dash too. Yeah, nice skills. Calvin has skills for sure. And I think in the second fight, Jaeger is moving a little bit better. It's random, right? So I was asked this question by Calvin. He says, is it at random? I'm like, yes. So I played Tagordi over 4,000 times between Storm 4 and Connections, the last game and this game. And even for him, when I first told him about this, he was skeptical. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but that was not a real game, because, and then we explained it and all that, and I think he gets it for sure as well. It's a horrible, horrible thing for the other person because you think you fight like heck, you improve, but you don't realize you're actually like in a genjutsu, right? You're fighting in a situation where you don't know if you have lag advantage or they don't. So say it is lagging for you, right? But say you're at a 7 out of 10. And say I'm at a 5 out of 10. So right away, you have 20% more reaction time, 20% stronger, faster dashes that are going to break your guard faster. You have 20% faster movement. And a lot of people on the receiving end of this, the comments that I got were, oh, you're just slow. I'm just faster than you. I'm just better than you. You're just a masher. You got to be smarter. Don't mash. Like, you don't understand when you're losing frames and when there's lag like that, there's nothing else you can do but what you were doing. And you're just struggling, not because you're bad, but because the game is fake and the person cannot move. I hope you guys can see this. I hope this is like starting to open up the eyes of some of you guys. I know a lot of you know about it, but a lot of you don't. So Guys, I don't know how to explain this to you, but I pray for this community. I pray for the players in this community because they don't want to see the truth and they don't want to see what it really is. I've been playing a lot more Overwatch lately. I don't even care if I'm a gold or platinum or diamond or whatever. I don't have to be master, grandmaster, top 500. But it's just beautiful and wonderful to be able to fight in a game where you know whatever it is real. You know, it's not a fake illusion. And you don't know if you're winning or losing or what the hell is going on, right? But you can actually see it in the videos if you look, right? And then, like, for the people that are saying, like, I'm just slow or bad, that makes no sense, because when you look at my other videos of me moving, you know what I mean, with Minato, going super fast with actions per minute, well, why wasn't I doing that against you then? Is it because I couldn't? Or because I'm just, you know, really bad? It just, none of it makes sense. Of course I'm not bad. Of course I can do it. If I'm not moving like that, if I don't get you in crazy combos, like this one guy said, oh, you couldn't get me in a grab loop and then you failed or something. I'm like, dude, the reason why I couldn't get you in that grab loop or in that crazy combo and keep the combo going is because I didn't have the frames, you know? So it's not that I'm bad. It's like that the game won't let you play it, right? Some of the times, a lot of the times. And a lot of times that's why you see higher level players use lag resistant characters, right? Because, like Shikamaru, for instance, the bags work all the time pretty much no matter what. So you just use them and they just work whether it's lagging or not. There are also hackers, modders, and cheaters on the console version of the game. And this also happens in Storm 4, not just in Connections, where there's a support glitch that basically you get story mode supports and stronger supports, and sometimes they even give you invincibility, or they just basically create infinite sub traps like this water jutsu here. This happened to Sarasa 6 on console in a ranked mode, and this also happened to Calvin's Room as well. Same type of thing. And there's a few players that did this on my rank journey in my Moonlit Massacre series back in Storm 4. A few different glitches that you can do. Infinite Awakening, Invincibility and Awakening. So the game eats up your inputs a lot of the time when it's lagging. There's a lot of different types of lag. There's different degrees in which it can lag. So the worst thing, in my opinion, that can happen is when you're pressing a button like the chakra button or the analog button or the attack or jump button, often enough and at random, some of those buttons just don't get registered, and then your character in the game doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't chakra dash or doesn't charge chakra or doesn't attack, so you're just standing there open, and then it leaves you vulnerable for counterattack, and then you basically lose the game off of that.